Welcome to this video on how to add email confirmation for account registration in an ASP.NET MVC application. You can find a link to clone this code in my GitLab repository in the comments section of this video. In the screenshots that follow, I will show you how to create the web application, how to change the database engine that the identity framework uses, and how to add email confirmations when new users are registered. I am using Microsoft Visual Studio on Windows for this video, but you could also use the .NET command line tools. Let's get started by creating our ASP.NET application. Open Visual Studio and select the option to create a new project. Select ASP.NET Core Web App, Model View Controller. On the configuration page, give your project a name, a solution name, and specify the solution location. Uncheck the option to place the solution and project in the same directory. On the next page, select the .NET framework you want to target and select individual accounts as the authentication type. I am unchecking the option to use HTTPS for this example. You will want to check that option for a real site. Finally, click the Create button. Here is the new solution. The first thing I want to do is to generate the web pages related to user accounts. By default, these are in a library, but there is an option to include this code in our project. Right-click on the project and select Add, then New Scaffold Item. Choose Identity as the feature to scaffold and click Add. Visual Studio is prompting us to select the files we want to generate. I'll just select them all. Next, we have to select the database context class from a drop-down and then click the Add button. Scaffolding is complete. Let's take a look at the files that were generated. In the Solution Explorer, look in Areas, then Identity, Pages, and Account. There are many of them, but I will be modifying just one. Before making the changes to add email confirmation, I want to change the database engine for the account database to SQLite instead of SQL Server. Let's take a look at the NuGet packages that have been added to our solution and add SQLite if it is not already installed. I am opening up the NuGet Package Manager by right-clicking the solution in the Solution Explorer and selecting Manage NuGet Packages for Solution. I will search for Microsoft.Entity Framework Core.SQLite. I see that the SQLite packages are already installed. When we scaffold the identity functions, that process added SQLite to our solution. We just need to include it in the web app project. Now that the SQLite packages are installed in the web app project, we need to change a couple references to SQL Server. In Programs.cs, change line 16 to use SQLite instead of SQL Server. Then in AppSettings.json, change the default connection string to specify our SQLite database file. Next, we will have to undo some steps that happened when we created the identity framework files. We need to regenerate the account database using SQLite. I will do this with the .NET command line. First, I am deleting the existing migrations directory that tracks Entity Framework database changes. Next, I will add a new initial migration using the .NET command and its Entity Framework extensions. We can list entity framework migrations to confirm our changes. Now, I will create the account database using the .NET EF database update command. And in case I want to reset the account database during testing, I'll make a copy of it at this point. Using the SQLite command line tool, we can now see that the necessary account tables have been created. We still have not added email confirmations to the registration process, but let's see how the application handles registration without email confirmation. Here is our application. To register a new user, just click on the Register menu item at the top right. I'll type in an email address and password with confirmation, and then click the Register button. We are taken to a register confirmation that contains a link to confirm our registration. By default, clicking this link simply sets the email confirmed flag in user database record to true without sending any email. The new user can now log in. To recap, we have created our web application with local accounts and configured it to use SQLite to hold account information. New users can register themselves and are immediately able to log in. We are ready to set the application up to require email confirmation when registering a new user. The main prerequisite to enabling email confirmation is that you need to have an email server. In this tutorial, I am using SMTP2Go, an SMTP service on the internet that includes a free account option for people who do not need to send large amounts of email. There are many similar services on the internet as well. This is the home page of SMTP2Go. Setting up a new account with them is easy. You must provide an account name and will receive a password for that account. As you will see, these must be supplied when you make a request to send emails. You also need to register an email sender with an address on your domain. Adding email support requires just a few simple steps. First, we must define a service that will interface with our SMTP server. Second, we must create an instance of that service that can be injected into the account registration routine. And last, we must make a one-line change to prevent the default auto-confirmation step from happening. Let's dive right in. To create a service to send email requests, create a new folder named Services in the web app project. In this new folder, add a new class and name it emailsender.cs. This class will implement the ASP.NET iEmailSender interface. I'll just paste in the code for this class and go over how it works. At the top of the class definition, there are 3 static class variables that will contain the information required to use SMTP2Go. I will set these values in the application startup code. In the real world, you would probably want a more secure way of accessing this information, such as a platform-specific secret manager. The only method that the iEmailSender interface exposes is send email async. The recipient, subject, and body of the email are passed to this method as arguments. We create an instance of mail message to hold the message data and an instance of SMTP client to send it. The email server address and port, along with credentials for the server, are supplied to the client. The sender is the address we registered with SMTP2Go. We fill in the remaining fields in the mail message, and we tell the email client to send it. Next, we need to go back into program.cs to create an instance of our email sender class. The first line that I have inserted creates an instance of the service. The following 3 lines initialize email server settings that we use in our email sender code. Now let's jump over to the registration code in register confirmation.cshtml.cs. All we need to do here is to change one property to prevent updating the database email confirmed flag. Instead, this will happen when the user confirms their address. I'll scroll down to the onGetAsync method and set display email confirm account link to false. That completes our changes to enable email confirmation. Now let's run the application again and register a new user. This time when a new user clicks the register button to register with the app, a different message instructs them to check their email in order to confirm the account. In a few seconds, the user will receive the email with instructions to click a link to confirm his or her email. When that link is clicked, the user will be taken to a page confirming that the new account email has been confirmed. He or she can now log in. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful, and I welcome any comments that you may have. I've included a URL in the comments below that you can use to clone the code for the project described here. And as always, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel if you like this video and are interested in seeing more content like this.